Hi everyone. So I want to give some quick instructions on completing the youth smoking cake study for this week. So this is the start of it. Basically, you'll read that this series of case studies, there's going to be 10 in total, are going to investigate one data set, one large data set, and you're going to do something in every chapter almost that will have to do with that data set with the topics and knowledge that you're learning in a particular chapter. Okay, so for this one, you're going to learn a little bit about the topic, so you can sort of watch, read pages, watch videos about smoking, tobacco use. There's information about the data set. So there were 2 studies performed in 1979 and 1983 to determine the relationship between children's lung function and the absence or presence of cigarette smoke, whether passively or actively inhaled. So that means, they could have been in a household where the parents smoked or somebody else smoked, or the children themselves were smoking. So here are links to these 2 studies. So you can open them up. You don't have to read the paper, but it might be helpful to look at the method and methodology section, because that explains how the data was collected, so you can kind of get an idea of what sampling method was used. Okay, so here it kind of tells you a little bit about lung function. In particular, what they were measuring was forced expiratory volume, FEV. So that's kind of the main variable of interest, is how much air in liter a person can exhale during a forced breath. So basically, kind of imagine that you're just standing there and then somebody is asking you, breathe out. Okay, so and then they basically had some sort of device, a clip on the nose, and then they could measure how many liters a person could breathe out. So that's kind of a measure of lung function. Okay, so they were just trying to see that whether children that were in an environment where they were smoking had less lung function than children who are not in a smoking environment. Okay, so that's kind of the setup here. So the preliminary discussion questions, kind of looking at sort of the background information, to your best ability, just answer these questions. All right. Then the next tasks, there's a few tasks here. It's asking you to look at the study, and the first question is do you think it's an observational or experimental research? Explain why. So just kind of looking at the information about the data and the study, decide what kind of research project this was, and give me a good reason why you think so. Could you expect the conclusion you reach in analyzing this data to apply to all youth aged 3 to 19 in the United States? Again, give me your best answer for that and explain why. All right, task 2, determine the level of measurement for each of the 5 variables. So this is what I mean by here is the level of measurement are those 4. Could be nominal, could be ordinal, it could be ratio, or it could be interval. Alright, so remember, nominal and ordinal, these are qualitative measurements, they're not numerical, and they're going to be things like qualitative, right, color or country or things that you answer with a word rather than a number. Okay, Ordinal is you can sort of put those characteristics in some sort of order. So like first, second, third, or best, medium, worst. Nominal, you can't put it in order. The other two measurements, these are quantitative, so those are numerical variables. The difference between ratio and interval is that for interval, it doesn't have a real zero, like temperature. For example, if you have a temperature of 0, it doesn't mean that there's no temperature in your house. It's just an arbitrary scale that some scientists set a few hundred years ago. Ratio, 0 means 0. So if you have 0 money in your bank account, then it means you have an absence of money, right? It's not an arbitrary scale. You have none, right? You have none dollars, all right? So that's kind of what you're answering here. So you're going to go through, you go age. Age is one of these, okay? Nominal, ordinal, ratio, interval. You're going to sort of put which one and explain why you think it's that level of measurement. FEV, what is it? Height, sex, smoking. So each of those you're going to have an answer of one of these 4 and an explanation why you think that is. Okay? Last task is to come up with a explanation of what kind of sampling techniques was used in the experiment. So look in the materials and methods section of the 2 articles. So you're going to go to here and open them. You don't have to read all of them. They're not easy to read. But look in the materials and methods section, and that will explain how they set up the data collection, the experiment, and how they choose the children that went into the study. Okay. From there, you can determine if there's any problems with the sampling techniques. In particular, do you think there was bias? Okay, so that's always important, that the sampling technique is randomized and there's no like bias that's apparent or hidden bias in the study, because otherwise the study is not going to give you very good conclusions. So that's it for this. Some kind of guidance instructions of how to do this. Okay. If you want to look at the data set, now here's the data set right here. So this will take you to the data set. You're going to go here. It's going to give you error. This means that you need to sign in. Okay, so you're going to click on sign in. And Math 119 Fall 2021. Math is cool over here. All right. The password is in Canvas if you look on the front module there. And this will take you directly to the data set. So you can see that there are, it's a large data set. There were 654 kids in the study. And this gives you the FEV in liters for each of the child, their height, their gender. Female, let's see. Female is 0, so male is 1. And the status of non-smoking or smoking, non-smoker is 0 and smoker is 1. If you need to rearrange the data to kind of look at it in more detail, like if you kind of wanted to see what the ages were for the kids, if you hover over the description age and you can see this arrow down, if you click on it, then you can sort the table. So sort ascending or descending. If I do ascending, it puts the smallest age on top and then the other ages, the older ages on the bottom. Okay. It rearranges the other columns too, so the same data sticks together. If I want to arrange it by height, for example, we can do the same. So smallest to largest. Same for FEV. So I can go smallest to largest. Or if I want to kind of divide up the males and females, you can go here and ascending. You put all the females together, the zeros, and all the males together. So you can kind of see how many males, how many females there were in the study. So that's it for now. As you're working through the class and these case studies, then you will make graphs and do statistics. All of these are awesome calculators and graph making applications here that you can use. It's a really great program to use. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stop talking.